Hi, this is your Swords Girl Raftalia speaking. And now you are watching DenoxSeries. Hope you enjoy.
Blue Reflection Second Light DXS Game Review. Hello people, DXS here, and today I will be reviewing a recent JRPG game that I have just beaten and enjoyed called Blue Reflection Second Light. It's the sequel to the first Blue Reflection game that came out last year in November 9th, 2021 worldwide, except for Japan that came on the 21st of October of 2021, over 2 weeks before it was released to the rest of the world. This game starts off with a young high school girl named Ao Hoshisaki as she was getting ready to head to school. Suddenly she disappeared when she checked her cell phone and being transported to an isolated school in the middle of the ocean. There she meets up with our other fellow reflectors, Kokoro Utsubo, Rena Miyabushi, and Yuki Kinjo, which they soon realize that it becomes a game of survival with the isolated high school being the base of their operations. This game is divided into 2 sections which I will be explaining one at a time. The battle portion of the game and then the other one that is the dating sims feature. I will explain the battle part first since that's where the main plot comes in. Their goals from there on in is to visit each of their own heartscapes, which contains memories of each of the girls' lives when they were in their original world to try to recover their lost memories. Each heartscape is a reflection to their memories, containing an open area where you encounter enemies along the way, where some of the girls who has reflector powers goes in and fight against the demons that lurks in these heartscapes. Through the heartscapes, you can look for these light blue orbs you can pick up as materials you can use to craft useful items that I will explain later on. And the yellow orbs contains multiple materials at once. The orbs that is designed as a star of some sort can show you a portion of a memory from a specific girl's heartscape for you to collect. Now, as I said earlier, you can encounter several different types of demons in this game. The battle style of this game is like an active turn-based JRPG where the ether on the bottom part of the screen builds up as time passes by, and when it reaches a number from 1 to the max 5, determines 1000 ether points each that you can use to execute an attack. The speed of the ether also depends on what their ether recovery speed points are. There are items you can craft to make the speed even faster in order to execute attacks a lot quicker as well. If you wait more patiently for the max ether number to build up, then you can attack multiple times at once. But a normal attack will help you increase that ether gains by 1. At some point, the girls will transform into their reflector forms and increase their stats at that moment. Of course, if a reflector dies, they lose all their ether points and returns back to normal. Sometimes when you fight a boss, they will engage with you on a one-on-one in-fight battle, where you need to time your buttons to dodge or evade enemy attacks, as well as attacking the enemies back at the right moment multiple times. Make sure that you are the one getting the advantage to attack the enemy more than the other way around, so you have more chances of attacking the enemy rather than the enemy attacking you many times. In battle, only 3 of the reflector girls can fight at one time, and you can assign one of the reflector girls as a backup support, so that when one of the girls gets taken down, you can easily swap it with the support one. A fainted girl in the support corner can eventually revive herself over time. You also have to be careful of certain enemies that cause knockback on you that will cancel your ether growth and put it in the back of the line, and you won't be able to attack for even longer. Causing a knockback to a specific enemy will also certainly give you a huge advantage in battle. The other section of this game is all about the dating simulator of all the girls you encounter and help out as Ao. Sadly, she is the only girl you can actually control in the game. But before we get more into details of the dating aspect of Blue Reflection Second Light, it's good to identify which of the girls are for combat and which are more for support. The active party members for combat are Ao, Kokoro, Rena, Shiho, Hinako, and Hiyori. And the ones that are non-combatants are Yuki, Kirara, Miu, Uta, Lime, and Yuzuki. So there are 12 main girls in this game residing in this abandoned school. If you play the first Blue Reflection game, you will know that Lime and Yuzuki were playable characters who fights alongside Hinako, who was the main protagonist at the time. Mio and Uta are actually reflectors that fights in the anime called Blue Reflection Ray. It's a shame that all the girls that I mentioned just now are not playable characters in this game. would have added more variety and choices of girls you wish to use in battle in the game. Nonetheless, they do serve other support purposes in the game that can help power up the active party members. So every time you go on a date or spend any time in general with any of the reflector girls you encounter in the school, you will earn talent points which you can use to power up any of the girls who you interacted with alongside support characters to help you power up the active members more. You can also gain fragments which you can use to equip any of the battle reflector girls that will give them specific special effects during battle. You can increase fragment slots as well with talent points as you gain more, so you can add more special effects to gain advantage in battle. Even though this feature may seem simple and relaxing, but it is essential to make good use of this feature and spend as much time with the girls as possible to gain more talent points and strengthen your party members. That also means side requests from any of the girls that ask for it, so you can gain even more talent points. It's very useful to take as much time as you need to grind on this so that you can stand a good chance to conquer all the hardscapes, because after all, they do tell you the recommended level to be in to stand a chance in that area. If your level is too low, keep grinding and take your time in doing side missions so you'll be ready for the next new hardscape that you encounter. Within the school's workroom kitchen, you will also get to craft materials that you gather within the hardscapes that you visit. Sadly, you cannot get items directly in hardscape, which kind of makes sense since most of the hardscapes you visit looks pretty abandoned. You have to manually make the items that you want that requires a specific amount of materials to craft into the item that you wish. You will be able to gain recipes for specific items to craft throughout the game. Once you select an item to craft for, you select which of the reflector girls to be the ones to make it. Depending on which girls you choose, the item can have some additional effects equipped within, such as HP regeneration, defense up, KO revive, and many others. Some item effects only works on one members, while some items works on all party members, such as Hades Lunge and Tricolor Lunge that has support for all effects for everyone to be healed pretty much. So be sure to pay attention on all the effects each item has right before crafting them. On the table next to where you craft items is called the school development, where the girls can build different infrastructure that you can put right outside the school. Just like item crafting, you will need specific materials in order to create a new facility. Depending on the facility you build, they can give you some field power-up effects for when you enter the next hardscapes, while some of the facility you build is required in order to progress through the game and even unlock a new character or hardscape, so most certainly learn the basics of this. Some also unlocks cutscenes with the girls similar to the dating events as well, and depending if this was from a request from a reflector girl, they can earn talent points out of that too. For more in-depth information on item and facility crafting, I'll leave a link in the description below where there's an article that explains it in much greater details, so most certainly take great advantage of this feature. Now let's get to the conclusion of this game. For my overall review of my experience with this game, I find it a lot more enjoyable than the first Blue Reflection game because there is a lot more variety of places and hardscapes to visit. Since the first game, you will essentially be in the same 3 to 4 similar looking areas throughout the entire game. You get to know pretty much every single girl's backstory and character developments during the game, especially how people like Uta changed from being, spoiler alert, very evil and creepy in the Blue Reflection Ray anime compared to how she is in the second light. Each of the girls in this story all has different personality that can fit with each fans and how they could perhaps relate to them too. I personally love Shiho as my waifu in this game because she is an amazing cook and also a great sword fighter. Not to mention she is also an amazing healer as well, so all that packaged into one girl makes her a great waifu material for me. Also, I love Rena as well since she is actually secretly an otaku and anime fan herself, when looks can be deceiving that she may not have been unless she confessed to it. Of course, I also like Hiyori for being very wholesome and optimistic about handling each situation. She is also the main protagonist of the Ray anime as well. And Hinako is my other favorite after these 3 girls since she is literally the only girl that is playable in both the original Blue Reflection 2017 and Blue Reflection Second Light, which is the game I'm reviewing right now. If you're into JRPGs that features different variety of magical girls called Reflector, which they each have their own abilities and attack traits, then you are most certainly going to enjoy this game. It's a very niche JRPG that you will barely see in the wilds unless you go to certain retail stores such as GameStop, Best Buy, and Amazon to get these games at retail price. As for April 2022, this game is retail around $40 to $50 if you still find them in stores, but on eBay the prices are already going back up to over $60. So if you really want this game physically, I suggest not to wait too long to get it, cause come back to this video 2 to 3 years from now and it may just be as pricey as the original Blue Reflection at over $200, but I could be wrong. The music soundtrack in this game have a very good variety of different tones depending on the atmosphere of the areas you are exploring, and the graphic itself is pretty well detailed, and it sure looks like they took their sweet time in polishing the game as well. The girl's hair looks very realistic compared to their anime counterpart, and they paid great attention to details. I don't know how I feel about their skin having deeper tone of red near their eyes, cause Kokoro for example looks pretty noticeable, but that's a nitpick of mine there, but it's kinda hard to ignore. So I give Blue Reflection Second Light for the Switch, PS4, and Steam a 9.2 out of 10. You do not really need to play the first Blue Reflection game in order to enjoy this game as well. And this is a crossover game across all main characters from other Blue Reflection games and series. I hope you enjoyed this game review, and until next time guys, take care, God bless, and stay cool. Bye bye. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the bell to keep up to date for new videos like this from me. And also check out the videos you see on the screen here if it interests you. Hope to see you again.